Hi everyone, welcome back to English4U. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
And we're talking today about day 2 of our article about Comic-Con International, San Diego's yearly comic world.
Absolutely. This is a big convention or a big meeting for the fans of science fiction and fantasy books and movies and TV shows, as well as the creators of those books, movies, and TV shows. So it's a chance for the fans to meet some of their heroes, some of the actors and writers whose work they enjoy, and for the companies to advertise their new shows and books and movies that are going to be coming out in the next year. So it's just a great way for a bunch of people with passion about science fiction and fantasy to get together and really learn and enjoy just sort of trading their passion, trading their stories, trading their interest.
Yeah, it started out pretty small in 1970. Only 100 people went.
Wow.
But now it's the biggest convention or comic book convention of them all, with 167,000 people going to the 2015 one. So much so that it's hard to get in the door because the tickets or passes sell out really quickly.
Absolutely. We learned that in 2014, all the tickets sold out in 1 hour.
Whoosh.
So if you're trying to go this year,
it's probably too late.
Good luck.
Yes.
It might be better to start planning for next year and find out when the tickets go on sale. But today we're going to be learning a lot more about it, so let's keep reading our article.
Reading.
San Diego's yearly comic world. Comic-Con's fans are very passionate about sci-fi and fantasy. In fact, many of them can't help but dress up as their favorite characters at the event. Visitors to Comic-Con can see everyone from Darth Vader, Batman, and Goku walking the halls. Once inside the convention, there are hundreds of dealers selling comic books, shirts, toys, artwork, and more. In addition, fans can line up to get an autograph from their favorite artists. If that isn't enough, visitors can also sit in on Q&A sessions with movie directors and actors. If they're lucky, they can ask a question of their own. Comic-Con's many events have drawn in people from all over the world. In fact, it's been in danger of overcrowding at times. The San Diego Convention Center has trouble holding so many visitors indoors. However, pop culture fans will continue to make the journey to San Diego each year.
So we start by saying that Comic-Con's fans are very passionate about sci-fi and fantasy. Sci-fi, of course, is just short for science fiction, and the word passionate means having or showing very strong feelings about something. So these people who go, they love science fiction and fantasy, and they won't hide it. They're going to tell everybody how much they love it. When they're talking with their friends, they'll get really excited about it. We could also say Ted is passionate about baseball and watches as many games as he can.
Okay, so he's got a great interest for it, a great love for it. It's a hobby of him. It's a pastime. He really enjoys everything about baseball. All right, let's get back to Comic-Con. It says, in fact, speaking about the fans, many of them can't help but dress up as their favorite characters at the event. Pat and I were talking about this before, and although neither of us have been to Comic-Con, I was saying I'd really like to go just to look at the fans, because the fans are so passionate, and they do. They dress up, this sort of idea of cosplay, which was maybe borrowed from Japanese culture, but people do love to dress up as the people in the stories that they really like, the people in the stories that they're fans of. And people in stories are characters. That's what we would call a character. And yes, a character is someone who is not real, from a fictional story. So Harry Potter is a famous character from the Harry Potter books. Anyone in Harry Potter is fictional. They are not real people. They never really lived. They were created from the imagination of a writer. We have characters in books, plays, movies, TV shows, anything like that that's telling a story about not real people, about fictional people. Those people are characters. For example, Wolverine is likely the most famous character in the X-Men comic books. Very true. And we also had this phrase, can't help but. They can't help but dress up as their favorite characters.
Yeah, if you can't help but do something something, then it kind of means you have no choice, or you feel like you have no choice but to do a particular thing or react in a particular way. They can't help but dress up. They can't imagine the idea of going to Comic-Con and not putting on a costume. If they just show up in jeans and t-shirt, they will feel like, well, I kind of missed out on the most fun part of this whole event. So of course I'm going to dress up. It's a chance for me to show the world how great I look in a costume or which character I love the most. And there are competitions, there are best costume competitions.
Wow, for the very serious people.
Exactly. So we could also say for can't help but do something. When I saw the funny cat video, I couldn't help but laugh. It was so funny, I just had to laugh, that kind of thing.
We often use it for things that you could actually not do, but you have a sort of a passion or an interest.
Yes.
You wouldn't really say, I couldn't help but stop when the policeman stood in front of my motorcycle. No, you have to stop. We often use it for things that you could have not done that, but you kind of chose to. I couldn't help but eat another piece of that delicious chocolate cake. No one was forcing you to, but you really wanted to.
Good.
It was so good.
Yeah, and of course, dress up as means to put on a costume, to pretend to be a famous person, a book character, somebody else. And we've got examples of that in this next sentence. Visitors to Comic-Con can see everyone from Darth Vader, Batman, and Goku walking the halls. Now, Darth Vader is, of course, the main villain from the Star Wars movie franchise. He's the big guy in black with a red lightsaber who does the famous sort of voice, the voicing. Batman, I think everybody knows who Batman is.
Sure.
But Goku, he's not somebody I was so familiar with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a character from the Japanese anime and manga Dragon Ball Z, which was actually on American television for many years in the 80s, probably, and definitely the 90s. So he has a lot of fans. Dragon Ball Z, I should say, the TV show, has a lot of fans in America. And these are just three of the many, many, many different characters that you'll see people walking around dressed up as. Yeah, if you dress up as someone, you're pretending to be someone, like people often dress up for Halloween. All right, let's go on. So not only can you see these cosplayers going around and their amazing creations, we also learn that once inside the convention, inside the main areas, the main meeting halls, there are hundreds of dealers selling comic books, shirts, toys, artwork, and more, I'd say, and so much more. Because yes, bring your wallet. It's not just to look at movie trailers, maybe meet some stars and look at some costumes. You can buy all sorts of stuff. And if you're a big fan, if you're a collector, if this is a serious hobby, you might want to buy a special rare comic book, a t-shirt from a TV show that you can't find this shirt anywhere else. And these are bought from dealers. Dealers are basically like vendors, people who are selling things often in a marketplace type of area. You might make a deal, if you own a comic book shop here in Taiwan, you might make a business deal. But if you're just a fan buying one shirt or one poster or a book or whatever, you'll buy it from a dealer, a person buying or selling things, often things that are a little special, a little unusual, or only bought and sold at certain times of the year, like at a Comic-Con. For example, we bought some interesting pictures from an art dealer.
Okay, and there is even more to do.
Gosh, I'm exhausted already.
There are all of these different types of events. One that is popular in our next sentence, it says, in addition, fans can line up to get an autograph from their favorite artists.
Wow.
In addition is just another one of these phrases we use to add more information to what's gone before, such as what's more, additionally, also, furthermore, and all of those. Whereas line up means to stand in a line in order to wait for something. For example, to buy a ticket or get into a movie theater or to buy popcorn from a stand in a baseball stadium or something like that. For example, we could say, people always line up outside this popular bakery.
Okay, and people line up when a lot of people want to do something, but you have to take turns. Everyone can't push and shove and fight to get to the front, so polite people will line up. And here, why are we all wanting to do this? Why do we have to line up? Because we're looking for an autograph. We're trying to get an autograph from a famous person. An autograph is basically when a famous person signs their name on something, all right? So they get a pen and then they write their name with their own hand on something that you want their name written on because you're a fan. You know, if you're a baseball fan, you might get your favorite player to write their name or autograph. We can also use it as a verb to autograph your baseball hat. And then you'll be able to say, hey, look, this guy, my favorite player, he signed my hat. He autographed my hat. That writing, that actual writing by the actual person of their own name is the autograph. We could also call it a signature, but that's for anyone. An autograph is the name, the signature of a famous person. No one really wants our autograph.
No. Well, maybe. I think I've given one once.
Possibly. But mostly it's really famous people. And sometimes you can buy and sell these too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now, and there's more. It just keeps coming. The article says if that isn't enough, visitors can also sit in on Q&A sessions with movie directors and actors.
Wow.
To sit in on means just to be there, to be present, to sit there while something happens. Q&A is the abbreviated way to say question and answer, and a session is a period of time devoted to a particular activity. So therefore, a Q&A or question and answer session is when an audience of people sits there and they ask one person or several people who sit at the front, it's usually a famous person, and they will ask them questions about their lives, their work. So in this case, how they made the movie, what they thought of it, what was it like to work together, what was the hardest part, what's coming out in the future, all of these, lots of questions like that, just to find out things. How did you do that cool action? Or what was it like wearing that crazy makeup costume? Those kind of questions. So they would ask the actors and the directors of movies.
A director is the person who's in charge of making the movie, a play, or a TV show. We could also use that. Whenever you see people making a movie, there's a person often sitting in a chair behind the camera yelling action or cut or something like that. That's the director. They'll sort of tell the actors what to do, and they're in charge of everyone else, the lighting, the costume, the cameras. They're basically the creative boss of making the movie or play or TV show. For example, Martin Scorsese is a famous director who made part of a movie in Taiwan not long ago. He's directed. We can use that as the verb form. He's directed many famous movies over the years.
Yep. Silence was the one he made out here in Taiwan, of course. Okay. And as the article says, if they, meaning the fans, the visitors, if they are lucky, they can ask a question of their own. They might get to talk with one of these superstars.
Interesting.
And maybe get a photo with them later. I mean, how cool is all that?
There you go. Now, as you can imagine, the article says Comic-Con's many events have drawn in people from all over the world. We talked yesterday about how it's international. And yes, fans will travel from basically every country in the world to go there because it is such a passionate thing for many, many people. In fact, it says it's been in danger of overcrowding at times. I can see with 167,000 people, that could be in danger. That could be a danger. When something is in danger of, there's a chance that something bad could happen. All right. So you could say we're in danger of getting wet if we don't start running because it's starting to rain. Right. Now, that doesn't mean the danger has happened. It means the danger is close. It could happen, and we should probably do something to avoid it. For example, people who drive after drinking alcohol are in danger of causing an accident and in danger of going to jail.
Yep.
I'd say. So the danger here would be overcrowding.
Yeah, that's when there are too many people in a particular place. And of course, it's dangerous because people maybe can't breathe well. They might get crushed.
Oh my gosh.
If there's a fire, it could end up being a disaster.
Or people just can't get inside and they feel cheated.
Exactly. And it happens at times. So sometimes, but not all the time, it could happen. And the next sentence in the article expands on this and says the San Diego Convention Center has trouble holding so many visitors indoors.
Wow, they can't find enough buildings, basically, for all the people who want to go.
Indoors is an adverb spelled I-N-D-O-O-R-S, indoors, and it just means inside a building. And it's an adverb, so we need to use it with a verb. In the sentence in the article, it's holding. Here's another example. The kids had to play indoors because it was raining so heavily.
All right. However, it says pop culture fans will continue to make the journey to San Diego each year. Absolutely they will, because they love science fiction and fantasy culture. Culture is basically, well, it's a very big idea, but basically it's the shared ideas, traditions, values, customs of a group of people. The way we celebrate our holidays, the food we eat, the songs we sing, the clothes we wear, the stories we tell, and the history we know. These are all parts of our culture. Now, you can also have the culture of science fiction fans. Maybe they're from different countries, but they all know that Darth Vader is someone's father, and this person killed that person, and these guys are the good guys, and those are the bad guys. They all understand all of these shared messages, these shared ideas, because it's part of their culture. For example, the 1960s saw a completely new culture of freedom appearing in the U.S. and elsewhere. That's right. And pop culture, when we say that, that's popular culture, right? So we're not talking about art and history that you might see at a museum, but stuff you might see on TV or in a movie recently.
Yeah, and comic books are part of kind of modern culture, as are the films and movies that we make.
Pop music, same idea.
Yeah, so of course people will make the journey to San Diego, which as we said is in California, each year. The word journey is spelt Journey, journey, and a journey is a trip from one place to another place. Okay, it's nice and simple. They will make a journey by plane. Some people will drive across the US, or down from Canada or up from Mexico to go to these events. They're taking long journeys. They could be journeying, which can be a verb, to journey, journeying all the way from Japan or Asia to go to this big Comic-Con. Certainly people from the UK will journey there. They'll take the journey. Here's another example of the word journey. In the story, 3 sons set out on a long journey to find their lost father. So they will travel a long way. They'll go from country to country, visit all sorts of places, and everywhere they go, they will try and look for their father who has gone missing. Okay, well, that's all we've got to tell you about Comic-Con. There's plenty more. You can watch videos of it online to see what's going on if you want.
Okay.
But we're out of time, which means we're now going to go for today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
And here we are with our chat question. It's a great one. I hope Pat has a good answer, and I think with his interest in fantasy and sci-fi, he will. It says, if you could dress up as any character for Comic-Con, which one would it be and why? So if you could cosplay, we can actually use that as a verb, right? If you could cosplay any character, which one would it be?
Oh, there is an awful lot of choice to go from.
How about something that would be more easy to make?
Okay.
Because some of the costumes, I mean, these people are artists.
They're crazy.
They're really good.
I mean, I have a long-standing fondness of pirates, so I could maybe go as someone like Captain Jack Sparrow.
Okay.
I think that would count from
now,
the
would that be in there? I guess that would be fantasy.
Yeah, there are kind of magic and monsters and ghost pirates.
Sure.
And there are other pirates in other stories.
True.
To be honest, some of the ones I might choose might be slightly obscure.
Oh, okay.
Just
obscure
from books,
meaning not a lot of people would know it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as a Marvel superhero, really, or a Star Wars character. I might go as a hobbit, because I'm about the right height.
Okay.
So I could do a pretty good hobbit, I think. And I kind of sound like a hobbit as well.
I see. Okay.
Maybe that. How about you?
Well, I was thinking of an easy costume I could throw together. Maybe one of the Doctor Who's over the years. I was thinking like Tom Baker. I could get a hat, a scarf, and a long coat. Hey, I'd be done.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
It wouldn't take me hours and paint and glue.
Well, if you're going to wear a costume, you might as well really put some effort into it.
I know. I just don't think I could do it very well, but I could certainly buy a hat, a scarf, and a coat. I could do that well. I'm not sure I could put together a really good one. Because some of the ones I've seen from video games, I mean, these people really are. Many of them should probably be working in movies because they have amazing skills.
I'm sure maybe some of the winners get hired. Who knows? Maybe they do. Yeah. Okay, well, that's all the time we've got. Thanks for listening to us, everybody, and our lesson about Comic-Con for English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
San Diego's yearly Comic World. Comic-Con's fans are very passionate about sci-fi and fantasy. In fact, many of them can't help but dress up as their favorite characters at the event. Visitors to Comic-Con can see everyone from Darth Vader, Batman, and Goku walking the halls. Once inside the convention, there are hundreds of dealers selling comic books, shirts, toys, artwork, and more. In addition, fans can line up to get an autograph from their favorite artists. If that isn't enough, visitors can also sit in on Q&A sessions with movie directors and actors. If they're lucky, they can ask a question of their own. Comic-Con's many events have drawn in people from all over the world. In fact, it's been in danger of overcrowding at times. The San Diego Convention Center has trouble holding so many visitors indoors. However, pop culture fans will continue to make the journey to San Diego each year.
Vocabulary Review.
Dealer. The art dealer travels the world looking for old paintings to buy and then sell back home. Director. Our film's director wants everything in the movie to be perfect. Indoors. It's raining hard today, so let's think of something to do indoors. Culture. Anna is interested in Italian culture, including its history and the way people live there. Journey. In the story, the hero goes on a long and dangerous journey to fight an evil enemy.